Guys, so in this video we are going to talk about the volume of pyramids and cones. So again, a quick reminder, pyramids and cones have one base and an opposite vertex. They have a height going to the middle of the base or the center of the base and a slant height, which we call L, going to the middle of an edge. All right, that slant height and normal height make a pretty little right triangle. Okay, so for volume of these pyramids, we are going to use the formula 1/3 times the base times the height. Okay, doesn't look like it, but technically, if you had a prism with the same dimensions as this pyramid, you could fit 3 pyramids into just one prism with the same base and the same height. Same goes for a cone, okay? 1/3 times the base times the height. So real similar to the last one of volume, but here we have to do a third because you're not getting the whole thing, you're just going to a point at the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So for our first one, we have volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height of the pyramid. So we need to find the area of our base first. The base here we know is a square that's 20 by 20. So the area of my base is 400. The height is given to us here in the picture as 24. So let's go ahead, plug this in. My volume equals 1/3 times 400 times 24 gives me a volume of 3,200 centimeters. Don't forget, it's cubed for volume. All right, next one, we have a cone. For a cone, let's write the same formula. 1/3 times area of the base times the height. Okay, so to get the area of the base here, I have a circle. The diameter is 18, so my radius is going to be 9. So the area of the base is pi times 9 squared, or that gives me a nice, pretty 254.5 for my area of my base. Now the height here is not drawn in. We are given L, the slant height of 18. So we have to find our height, and I'm going to draw that in here. This is what we're looking for. Okay, now again, remember height and slant height always make a right triangle. We know the bottom of this is 9, half of 18, so we're going to use Pythagorean theorem and say that 9 squared plus h squared equals 18 squared. If I solve this guy, the height has to be approximately 15.6 centimeters. Okay, so now I know my height and the area of my base, and now I'm just plugging it all in. Volume equals 1/3 area of the base, 254.5, and a height of 15.6. Final volume is 1,323.4 centimeters cubed. All right, last one together. Number 3, we have a triangular pyramid with an equilateral triangle at the base. So our formula, same thing, 1/3 area of the base times the height. All right, to get the area of the base, this one's a little weird. Remember, this is that equilateral triangle. When it's hard to draw in there, just draw it out here. 10, 10, and 10. So this is where we had to drop in the height. Okay, this is 5 and 5. We can calculate, because this is a equilateral triangle, we know the angles are 60. So to find this height, we can use trig, or we can use special right triangle rules to find that the height of this triangle is 8.66. So the area of the triangle would be 8.66 times 10 over 2, which would give me 43.3. If you want to see more details, look back at the last video. All right, now our height is not given to us in here, and so that one's a little bit tricky. Remember, if we draw on our height, it goes from the vertex to the center of the base. So it hits here. There would be the triangle. Let me draw where it hits on the outside. So here is my equilateral triangle. It hits right here. Okay, it makes a 90-degree angle with that edge. And what's tricky is we have no idea what that little length is. Now we can figure it out. And here's how. This is a tricky problem, but something that you could figure out. So we know that if that's in the center, that if we draw a line to the vertex, it's cutting the angle in half. Again, since this is a equilateral triangle, each angle is 60, which means if I cut it in half here with this little line, it makes this 30 and 30. Okay, now I also know that in my equilateral triangle, each side is 10. So if I cut that in half with this side, I get 5 and 5. So now I have a little 30, 60, 90 triangle that has the side across from the 60 is 5. So I can use trig or I can use special right triangle rules to find this distance right here. This is what I'm trying to figure out. Let's call it x. So I'm just going to use trig and say the sine of, the tangent of 30 equals x over 5. 5 times the tangent of 30 gives me an x value of 2.9 around. Okay, so I'm going to add that up to this picture, 2.9. Okay, I know my slant height is 12, so now I have enough information to do Pythagorean theorem to find my height. Okay, so this is kind of a convoluted problem here. We had lots of pieces. So now I can say h squared plus 2.9 squared equals 12 squared. Go ahead and solve that for h, and we would get 11.6 meters, which if you look at your picture, a little smaller than the slant height of 12. So again, slant height should always be a little bit bigger than the regular height. Okay, this is a really tricky problem to find those pieces. You shouldn't be given something quite that hard, but it's possible it could happen. Okay, so let's find our volume. Our volume is 1/3 times the area of my base. And again, I organize my work so you can find these things easily. That's really important. 43.3, and my height would be 11.6. So we multiply all that together. Volume of 167.4 meters cubed. Okay, so there are two for you to try, and then we'll check them after the video. On the first one, you have a cone with a radius. You were given the slant height. You need to find this height. On the second one, you were given a pyramid with a square base. So this is 4. Okay. You can assume that the distance from the height to the slant height is half the length of the side. All right, go ahead and try both of these two. Pause the video. Don't pause until you've tried them, and we'll check. All right, here we go. Our cone had a height of 13.3, the area of the base 153.9, so our volume was 682.3. For the pyramid, you had a base of 16. To find the height, you had to know this little bottom piece was 2. It gives you a height of 5.7 and a volume of 30.4. Please write down any questions you have. Once you're finished, you got all the examples, rewind if you need to, and then do numbers 6, 7, and 8 and check your answers on Drive before you move on to the next section. Okay, I'm going to warn you right now. Number 7 is like the example we did together on number 3. Okay, I want you to try it, but just know, look at the example we did on number 3. Okay, that's it. See you guys next time.